More people means more demand for goods and services, which is a definite plus for our small businesses who are the backbone of our community. We're going to talk about the way small business owners can capitalize on and use the city's growth to their advantage, and how it can be a win-win for all of us. But first, just as we celebrate the successes that can come along as a side effect of those moving here and calling Nashville home, let us not forget about those people who move around our fair city without a place to call home. The homeless are never far from my first guest's mind. His life's work has been dedicated to helping them, and he's here to tell us more about it. I welcome Louie Johnston Jr., founder of Layman Lessons Ministries, to the Plus Side of Nashville.
Thank you,
welcome, Louie.
Good to be here.
You have dedicated your life for the last 16 years to helping the homeless. What inspired you to want to do that?
Well, actually, I didn't want to do it, Tawanda. I was very happy in a lifestyle of being a business consultant and having a lot of nice clients, and especially designing computer systems for behavioral health care industry clients. And God just called me to do it, and after about 6 months of arguing with God, He won. And I'll never forget driving down to the first location where I was going to serve, and arguing with God the whole way, telling Him, I know You're the God of the universe, and You got everything, a plan for everything, but you've missed this. I'm not the guy that's going to be a homeless ministry guy. I don't even know how to relate to them. And then when I got there, there was a fellow there that was a long bearded guy that hadn't had a shower in a year, I guess. And when I got out of the car, I said to God, I'm going to do this, but you're going to have to be the one to tell me what to say, because I don't have anything in common with these folks. I'm a working guy. So he was reading a book, and I said, I introduced myself. His name was Richard Cheshire. I'll never forget him. And I introduced myself, stuck out my hand, and I said, what you reading there, bud? And it just happened to be the same book that I was reading.
Wow.
And I thought, well, God, maybe you know a little bit about what you're doing. So that's how it started.
That's how it started. And from that point on, it became your life's mission. You gave up your corporate job. You even lived for 7 years with these homeless folks. Why did you want to do that?
It's the only way to get them off the streets. The homeless people that would raise their hand, the men that would raise their hand and say, I gave them a choice. You either learn to do things God's way. You can come with me and learn to do things God's way, or you can stay out here and do things your way. But how's that been working for you so far? And those that really wanted to learn to do things God's way, it's a process. It's not an event. And it takes 24/7 counsel and training and being available to them, gaining their trust, and them seeing that you're not a goody two-shoes person that out to get brownie points for Sunday school classes or something. So it just took that, and I wrote the curriculum they needed, custom curriculum, and to teach them. It was a great honor for me.
I can just imagine. Louie, one of the things that sets your ministries apart from some of the other homeless organizations that we hear about all the time, you're a mobile ministry. So you don't necessarily have a shelter. You go to them.
We're a mobile church.
Yes, you're a mobile church. Why did you want to do it that way?
Well, I believe that's what the church is supposed to do. We at Layman Lessons Church Ministries, we do 5 things. Feed the hungry, clothe the naked, shelter the homeless, preach the gospel, and train disciples. Those are the 5 things that the church is supposed to do, and I don't see how you do that if you don't go to where the people are in greatest need, as Jesus called them, the least of these.
Absolutely. And you know where they are. They feel comfortable with you coming to their camps. You've gained their trust. So you're able to actually go to them. I'm sure you've become great friends with them by now. And go to them and take their needs to them. Not only that sets your organization apart, but you also provide showers, and you have a laundry facility for those folks to do their laundry. That must be just outstanding, and what a profound idea.
Well, we're the only mobile showers and laundry units, totally self-contained. We're not tethered to any water supply or anything. We carry our water tanks with us and our gray water tanks for disposal, and we're able to provide up to 100 showers a day and probably several dozen loads of clothes to wash. And you see that the thing is, there are mobile showers out there, but then the homeless have to put on their dirty clothes.
Yeah.
And it's mobile showers and laundry allows them to sit around in robes and let us love on them, teach them some good gospel stuff, and while they're waiting for their clothes to dry, love on them, to let them know God loves them. We're just God's hands and feet to love on people, to let them know He loves them, and because He loves them, He sent us to tell them about it.
So you work a lot locally, but your organization also works with national groups. A lot of folks that we know the names of. Name some of the national groups that you're affiliated with.
We're the only Nashville partners with the 700 Clubs Operation Blessing Program, food program, and Feed the Children. We're the only ones that distribute from Nashville. We get a trailer load in from the 700 Club every month and distribute that. It's non-perishable food, drinks, pharmacy items, things that the homeless just can't afford to go in a drugstore and buy, over-the-counter stuff, toilet paper, feminine hygiene items, things that it's expensive and they just don't have a means to buy them, and we're able to take those to the camps. People don't realize there's over 10,000 homeless in Nashville-Davidson County, and I don't know where all these government estimates are coming from, but I know there's over 10,000, and there's hundreds of homeless camps hidden right off of major arteries and shopping centers that most people wouldn't even know. Nobody knows, but we know where they are because they've entrusted us with that information, and we will take supplies to them. So as many as volunteers, I have 3 full-time evangelists that actually volunteers that actually go and deliver those supplies. And that's Jonathan Gray, Eddie St. James, and Tina Toller, ministers to the women. So
your whole organization is made of just all volunteers, even you. Nobody gets paid.
Nobody's ever been paid since 2001 when we started.
Well, you also are able to provide these folks with fresh produce. That must be nice. You work with the national farmers?
Yes. Ken Jakes Produce, Ellis Jakes Produce on Whites Creek Pike, is our board member and great supporter. And they've had decades of experience in brokering produce, and set us up with a network of farmers nationwide that provide us with truckloads. Not just in Middle Tennessee, but over 12 states that we've delivered to truckloads to faith-based food banks, organizations, and ministries in 12 states now.
Do you all, or what I should say, what is a typical day like for you all?
There's no such thing.
There's not a typical day.
No, there's many days I'll get a call at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning with a truckload of produce in Alabama or Georgia or Florida, in some state, and I'll be on the phone calling immediately to make a connection to get them unloaded as quickly as possible, so that they can move on and pick up their next load. Sometimes it's answering phone calls from the homeless that are desperate for help, and they call the office voicemail, and then it's a matter of triaging them to get the help they need to the nearest best service for them. Sometimes if women call in, I have a team of women that I forward those messages, phone calls to, and they call them and counsel with them and pray with them. And if it's men, I try to take care of the men myself. But there's no such thing as a typical day in Layman Lessons Church Ministries.
Well, that's what it sounds like. Yes. With your mental health background, do you think that helps at all?
Absolutely. It amazes me how many Christians will sit and say, if you really were spiritual, you wouldn't need to take medications for anxiety and depression and this kind of thing. I don't know how many people I've heard in church say that, and I'm thinking, well, in fact, I'll ask them, what do you do when you get a headache? Well, I take aspirin.
Exactly.
And I say, you see, that's the same point. People that have traumatic issues in their past, there's a depletion of chemicals that you wouldn't know about unless you had behavioral health care background. And it's balancing those chemicals, rebalancing those chemicals, that's the key to getting people healthy again in mental health. everything's not spiritual.
You got a good point there. I want to brag on you a little bit. You recently received from the state of Tennessee a certification as a recovery congregation, mental health and substance abuse services. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This was in October, and so you're being recognized for much of the good work that you're doing. And I know you're not doing it for that reason, but for those people who may not be familiar with, Layman Lessons, it's good to know that there are people who are aware of what you're doing and how you're helping the homeless in our community. What would you say is your greatest need right now?
Volunteers that actually care about the invisibles that they pass every day in their backyards. And, to educate themselves, the church needs to get out of the pews and get out into the community in their backyards. There's invisibles everywhere. There's over 10,000 homeless, desperate people that don't want to be out there. A lot of people say, well, they want to be out there. They choose to be out there. Maybe 5 or 10% do, but 80 to 90% don't, and they're desperate and they want to work. They just don't have the means to get transportation to get to the good jobs in the suburbs, and they have challenges. There's 3 ladies that live off of Ellington Parkway that just break my heart, because one, I'll just tell you about Cindy. Cindy worked for 28 years as a carny, a carnival tour operator, and setting up rides. She had a stroke. For 28 years she worked for the carnival, but she had a stroke in January and lost her job. She's living in a camp off of Ellington Parkway, open air camp, building campfires, trying to stay alive, dragging limbs. Now, where are the Christian women in Nashville? Where are you? And why won't you come and adopt one of these homeless women, take her under your wing in your church Bible study, and take care of these people? If every church would just adopt one homeless person, and I'll clear them for you. I'll get you the ones that aren't addicted to drugs or alcohol or got severe issues. But if just one church would just adopt one person, we could end homelessness in America.
That's a very good point. Hopefully, maybe there's some folks out there listening, Louie, and may be able to get into contact with you, and you can do that. What's the best way to reach you?
Well, it's by email probably, Louie at LouieJohnston@gmail.com, but our website is where they need to go.
That's a great point.
www.laymanlessons.org.
So that's where you can learn more about this wonderful organization and group of people, all volunteers who are working to help the homeless. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's a great honor.
All that you're doing in the community.
It's a great honor to want.
When we come back, why there's never been a better time to be a small business owner in Nashville. Stay with us.